So we got Malcador's Darkest Secret and other grim dark mysteries. Thank you guys for coming through. Let's get to it. Shout out to Weshammer for this. And also, man, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Let's get to it. Let's go, y'all.
The absolute massive universe of Warhammer 40K is chock full of grimdark mysteries that have continued to go unsolved.
Now, y'all, this is kind of like a little long video, so we're not going to pause it too much. And if we do pause it, we're not going, I'm a yapper, so I'm going to keep it real. Sometimes I go off the grid with it, but we're going to try to keep it short with the yapping.
In this series, we're going to be diving into all of them in an attempt to shed some light on the darkest corners of the galaxy of the 41st millennium. We're going to be taking a look at an 8-decade-long conflict that was said to have been kicked off by one of the Emperor's lost sons. Despite the fact that the return of one of the primarchs surely should have been a cause for celebration, all records pertaining to this event have been systematically purged. We're going to be looking at a veiled region of space that has been forbidden to be explored for over 10,000 years, without an official reason for the lockdown ever having been given. We're also going to be taking a look at one of the series' most secretive characters, the right hand of the Emperor himself, Malcador the Sigillite.
Now, I don't want to be mean. We did hear about this dude. We did hear that, he was on like the golden throne for like 5 minutes, and bro, it was GG's. Now, obviously for me, y'all, I'm gonna just keep it real for what it is. I last at least like a whole day, for real.
And more specifically, one of the darkest things that he ever did. However, before we dive headfirst into the grimdark, a quick shout out to this video's sponsor. Obscure and mysterious events in 40K's lore. None have generated more speculation amongst the fanbase than the two missing primarchs. Because, of course, that's 40K's biggest mystery of all time.
Now, and here's the thing, I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but guess what? We will find out those two primarchs. We will. Now, I've seen a lot of people try to debunk who it is. Like, oh, Primarch 2 and 11 is it. No, you don't even know who that is. Stop. The cap is absolutely, bro, rebonkulous, bro. The cap is absolutely ridiculous. I see a few people in the comments be like, oh, bro, you don't know who Primarch 2 and 11 is? Oh, bro, you're so lost behind the sauce. Like, you're lost in the sauce. No, I'm not. You don't know who they are. Stop capping. I see people in the comments all the time be trying to when I be asking people, I'm like, yo, who do y'all think Primarch 2 and 11 is? I see some people in the comments talking about oh, wow, what a rookie. You don't know who Primarch 2 and 11 is? You don't know either, brute. You don't know either. Stop trying to cap. You cap it on the same level as me.
But considering that Primarch is actually in its name, there's another topic that, although a bit more obscure to those who know about it.
Hey, real quick, they be like, well, actually, Primarch 2. Bro, they really be in the comments like really confident. Like they really know who it is. You don't know who it is, bro. Stop. You don't know.
Endless source for speculation. I speak, of course, of the War of the False Primarch. But what exactly was this war? Why does it reference a Primarch in its name? If I'm being honest with you, the details are pretty scarce. We don't really have a lot of concrete information to work with. The only thing that we really know about this event comes from a single paragraph in Imperial Armor Volume 2. Now, what we do know is that at one point in the Imperium's history, there was an 8-decade-long conflict, noted for being particularly dark and bloody, that swept through Segmentum Pacificus, plunging the entire sector into anarchy. The cause of this event was 11 separate chapters of Space Marines all turning traitor at the exact same time, that were all believed to have a similar singular goal and were united under a single powerful entity. All historical records and pretty much any documentation surrounding these events has been systematically purged, including the names of the 11 lost chapters, the higher-ups of the Imperium viewing the event as far too dangerous to be remembered. Whatever the details of this event were said to be so bad that the High Lords of Terra created what was known as the Pentarchy of Blood.
Wow, so they burnt the files, y'all. Ooh. Okay, all right, so this is what I like, y'all. Whenever it comes to corruption and, all types of like the nitty-gritty, this is what we want, y'all. Yeah. The Halloween season, well, we're in the Halloween season, y'all. Halloween is legit, 3-4 days away? Yeah, this is what we like, bro. This is what I like right here. So somebody legit burned all the files, and then in the files, Primarch 2 and 11's name was in there. So last time I actually checked, y'all, if y'all actually don't know, I don't know who said it. I think either Major Kill or somebody else said it, that the Emperor got rid of Primarch 2 and 11's name. That's what I've been like, that's what I thought this entire time. Turns out And in Weshammer's story right here, he's saying that, yo, like in these files that they got rid of, in these files that they put in the shredder, was Primarch 2 and 11's name. Now, bro, imagine if I get my hands, you know, on Primarch 2 and 11's name. Bruh, man, I'm gatekeeping heavy, y'all. Yep, I'm doing it. I'm gatekeeping, y'all. Because every time a fine, amazing, just beautiful woman pop up on the screen and I say, y'all, who is this? Y'all don't ever, y'all be gatekeeping too. So guess what? I'm going to gatekeep their names.
This was a combined force of 5 different Space Marine chapters that were tasked with hunting down and eradicating every single member of the aforementioned traitors. And just looking at the names of the chapters involved in this group, the High Lords must have been scared shitless. We've got the Death Eagles, who on paper are a successor chapter of the
I heard
Raven
about
Guard,
them,
but are heavily rumored to have been created using Emperor's Children gene seed. The Red Talons, an Iron Hand successor chapter that can trace its lineage back to the Great Crusade, and whose members were said to be a clan made up of the most unstable and brutal elements of the Legion. The Charnel Guard, who are the most vampire of all of the Blood Angels. They're a fleet-based chapter that sleeps in stasis crypts to extend their lifespans while not in service, and due to
them boys be hibernating.
This practice has one of the most well-maintained armories, with relics of incredible power dating all the way back to the Great Crusade. And oh yeah, just for funsies, they threw in the Berserker Cannibals of the Flesh Terrors and the Space Sharks themselves. The Carcadal group of Space Marine chapters been brought together. And what this indicates to me was that the High Lords of Terra were not taking any chances. But what could have had them so free?
Can I keep it real, bro? Damn, I'm pausing a lot. Yo, the High Lords of Terra, bro. Yo, maybe it's just me, and maybe it is just me. But yo, something's off about them. We gotta investigate those dudes too, bro. Cause imagine when they was young. I could just imagine, bro. Cause I'm pretty sure there's like 4 of them. Correct me if I'm wrong, y'all. But like, I already know they was up to no good when they was young, bro. I already know they was putting up Michael Jordan, bro, Wilt Chamberlain numbers when they was young, bro. Those dudes was some freaks. And now that they're older, trying to bury stuff and hide stuff, I don't trust them, y'all. I don't trust them, bro. I think they're up to no good. Yup, man. Yo, imagine those High Lord files. Those High Lord files, bro. Ooh, I already know they got some type of evil dark islands. Yeah, I said it. They're not about to do nothing to me, bro. I got Vulcan protecting me, for real.
Doubt. Could the mysterious figure that managed to turn all of these chapters have really been a Primarch, or at least something on that level? Could it have been one of the 2 missing Primarchs come back for revenge against the Imperium that sought to destroy them and their sons? Could it have been one of Fabius Bile's cloned Primarchs that somehow managed to get loose? Or was it not really a Primarch at all, but something of similar stature, potentially a powerful demon or alien that was masquerading as one of the Emperor's sons? What do you think it could have been? Honestly, I'm a little stumped on this one. At first, I thought it might have had something to do with one of the plots that goes on in the Beckwin novels. If you know, you know, I'm not trying to spoil it here, but I double-checked the dates and they just didn't line up. Let me know all of your theories about this down in the comment section. The crazier, the better. When it comes to the War of the False Primarch, there's just a ton of unanswered questions, and I hope this is a plot thread that Games Workshop decides to pursue in novel format in the future. As if I'm speaking from a bit more of a meta perspective, Games Workshop leaves seeds like this all the time for potential storylines.
On purpose,
and this would make a great one. The possibilities for storytelling are endless here, and I'm sure any of the Black Library authors would absolutely have a field day with fleshing this thing out.
And also, like, bro, like Games Workshop, they're like top tier finessers. Like, they do, like, if I was in their position, I would do the same thing. Because I feel like for some of these characters or whatever, and if you know any examples, bro, put them down in the comment section down below. But I feel like for sometimes they don't immediately like kill off a character, or like they don't immediately like, you know, get rid of like a storyline or whatever. I feel like Games Workshop, they would like kind of like, I don't know if y'all know the term like bury. They would like kind of like bury a character, or like basically make a character look like they're dead or like that they're gone or whatever, and then bring them back like 2 years later. That's what I feel like they would do. If that makes sense. But like Games Workshop, they're like top tier finessers.
The Sigillite's Confidant. Now, it's no secret that 40K is full of shady, mysterious characters, individuals who have had their hands in multiple major events, yet the details of their involvement still remain a mystery to this day. None exemplify this archetype better than Malcador the Sigillite, a perpetual that stood by the Emperor's side for over 6,000 years, and who is potentially the strongest human mortal psyker that ever lived. This dude was the right hand of the emperor, and I can't really put into words just how big of a role he played in the creation of the Imperium. Fun fact, all of the perpetuals used to follow the emperor, but one by one, they all became disillusioned with his plans and eventually abandoned him. Only Malcador never left his side. Pretty much every shady event that took place in the Imperium's history before the Horus heresy, this guy had a role in it, or at least one element of it could trace its way back to him. He would become the first Grand Master of Assassins, as well as the father of the Inquisition. He even formed the Grey Knights chapter of Space Marines, although at the time they were known as the Knights Errant and acted as Malcador's secret police, to put it mildly. This dude was so mysterious and powerful that at one point, the primarchs tried to get uppity with him, and he force-choked the shit out of War Master Horus, reminding—
I remember that. I don't know who told me that, but I remember that. Yeah, because he's like the Emperor's like best friend, right? Isn't he basically like their uncle? Yeah, I remember that, yo. Big Unc was not playing, bro. Unc was not playing, bro. He was on straight timing, bro. Unc was not playing. Man, I just didn't know how powerful he was, bro. I did hear about that. I think it was who told me that? Was it Major Kill or was it Bricky? Somebody told me that. But I remember that Big Unc was not, yeah, he was on timing. He was. But here's the thing though, about like Malcador, bro, like I know some things about him, but I don't know everything. I'm gonna keep it real, like I don't know, bro. He might have to go on my new list. Now I have a whole new list of me investigating people in their past. Now I understand, bro. Everybody makes mistakes, but at the same time, bro, if you're an adult, like if you're like a really young man or whatever, you could change. But if you're an old dude, bro, you're still making these diabolical, freaky mistakes, I gotta call you out.
a Primarch that they were not on the same level. Malcador's kind of a G. It's impossible to know the full extent of what Malcador had to do during the creation of the Imperium, but there's no question that he was forced to do some truly horrific stuff in the Emperor's shadow. He was a very secretive man and didn't share the information of his deeds with many people, as not only was that information highly classified, but the nature of some of the things that he was an untrained mind, simply knowing of their nature, could be driven into madness. And believe it or not, we actually have an example of that exact thing happening. You see, Malcador, despite being one of the most powerful people in the galaxy, was still a human man with human needs. He felt a compulsion to confess the long list of sins that he had committed, so he found the perfect listener. In comes a man named Ale Winter, a sanctioned historicist that worked for the Sigillite, and truth be told, he was quite fond of him. He thought Malcador was a fascinating and insightful person, and they ended up becoming pretty close friends. Malcador would invite him to look at the vast collection of art that he had preserved from ancient Terra. They would play regicide together and stay up late into the night discussing philosophy, literature, and all manner of other subjects.
Oh, they was boys.
Over a bottle of vintage Amasec. Winter stated that he thoroughly enjoyed their conversations and thus officially accepted when Malcador presented him an official role as his confidant. As time went on, however, Malcador would begin to bring up certain topics about his role in the Imperium. Malcador said these were things that couldn't be discussed elsewhere, and Winter was happy to be the ear that his friend needed.
Be careful. Be careful, y'all. Ooh, be careful. And here's the thing, I'm not even saying that just because, like, here's the thing, like, if you out, taking people out one by one without people noticing, then I don't think you should be. Well, first of all, you're a criminal. You're a diabolical menace, and I think you should be telling everybody. Yeah, bro, go to jail. That's what I think. But no, seriously, on a serious note, I feel like we should all be worried about telling people certain things, even if it's something small. You don't want to tell everybody, or not even everybody, but you be careful who you tell stuff to, because there's some people who seem to be trustworthy, whatever. Turns out, bro, last time you checked, your other friend knows what happened to you in the 7th grade, how you got bullied and shoved into the locker, and they took your chains, but you only told that to Aaron, and Aaron only knew that, and all of a sudden Aaron just revealing his secrets to everybody. It's crazy. So just be careful who you tell like information to, bro, because at the end of the day, bro, like, we all have friends who we think that we trust, but you never know, bro. Some people, they just they just be gossiping, and it be grown men too. Grown men gossiping, crazy work, ain't it? Bro, you would have thought the new season of Love and Hip Hop came out. The way these dudes be gossiping, bro. Grown men. You are a grown male gossiping. Telling everybody my business. That is, yo, I'm gonna keep it real. I like, thank God I don't have men like that in my life. Yo, no, I did. I had one. That's what I'm saying. Like this comes from like experience, y'all. I've had one dude in my life, bro, that that he was my boy or whatever, bro, but he was telling everybody everything for real. And then like those type of people are the type of people to where if you get in an argument with like, with those type of people, if you get an argument, if you get in an argument with your friend, which it happens, bro, like y'all are human, like it's gonna happen. But at the same time, bro, when you get in an argument with somebody like that, they the type of people to like go around and like reveal your deep darkest secrets. They're the type of people to like scream out, like something really embarrassing to try to make other random people laugh and stuff like that. It's just crazy and cringe, to be honest.
But as time went on, the nature of the
all right, y'all, my bad, I'm back. Had to go do something real quick, but we back. Let's go, y'all.
Became darker and more disturbing with each new tale. At one point, he told Malcador that the conversations were making him incredibly uncomfortable, but he brushed his concerns away and went on talking, further exacerbating the uncomfortable feeling of dread building in his friend's heart.
And also, like, that's really irresponsible by Malcador because, bro, if you're telling your friend something that makes them uncomfortable, why are you continuing to do that? At that point, that makes me feel like Malcador had no other friend. I mean, and I don't want to sound messed up, but it legit makes me feel like he had, like he was dealing with so much, like, stress or whatever from, like, what he was doing, that, like, he just had to tell somebody. And that's a scary thing, bro. Like, especially when you didn't ask for any of this, bro, and somebody's telling you some really, like, deep stuff. Man, I don't even know how to, like, I feel like at that point, I got to get away from you, respectfully.
Soon after this, Malcador's stories began to veer into their darkest territory. He revealed to him secrets told to no one else, stories of the things that he had done, the sins he had committed, the betrayal of Horus Lupercal, the coming of the Chaos Legions, the Imperium's darkest secrets, and the true nature of the universe. He unloaded everything onto him, and not just in a single conversation, as there were too many stories to tell. This became a regular, everyday occurrence. Every night, Malcador would tell him more, unburdening himself of the weight of his extensive sins. Whatever he told Winter, whatever terrible truths were whispered in his ear, were so horrific that Winter began doing everything he could to escape the Imperial Palace.
Boy, he was telling him Diddy secrets. Yo, he's getting told so many deep diabolical secrets that he want to leave the palace, y'all. Bro, you know what that means. All the freak offs, all the baby oil parties, all the, all the sex parties. Yeah, bro. All these down bad diabolical things going on. Yo, he want to leave the palace. Imagine somebody telling you like secret after secret, bro, and it's really making you just question life. And these secrets are true. These ain't just like conspiracy theories. No, bro, these are real secrets that he know, and he just want to just get it off his chest just to tell somebody. Bro, you know how much of a horrible friend you are? Yo, Malcador, no lie, bro. You would have been sent to the block party. I would have blocked your number. Bro, get away from me. For real. Stop telling me these things, bro. Why can't we just talk about the Chiefs game or the Dodgers game or the Laker game? Why can't we talk about, bro, why can't we talk about something like just a little less hearted, bro? Why you got to put that burden on me? Seriously.
Yet, time and time again, he was captured.
I would have been cut him off, y'all.
His plans of escaping physically were an obvious futility. Thus, his mind turned to a far more tragic path of action. However, before he could follow through with his plans, during one of his escape attempts, he managed to infiltrate a secret laboratory of the sigillite, where he learned an even more terrifying truth. He discovered a dead Eldari floating in a glass tank, and minus the more traditional Eldar features, to his absolute horror, it looked nearly identical to him. He sat there in the throes of madness, staring into his own face. It was then that via hologram, Malcador appeared before him and implored him not to do anything rash, that he was on his way and they could talk this through.
Ain't no talking. We can talk it through. You did enough talking, bro. There ain't no more talking. It's over with. We can talk this through. Lord have mercy.
Winter, now completely gripped by a state of madness, demanded answers. The sigillite nodded towards the dead alien.
It took a long time to understand the structure of their genetic material, but adaptation was possible. He was dying when I discovered him, you understand.
No.
But even in those moments, I realized what kind of being I had found. A kindred spirit, something nigh immortal, with an intellect I could actually spar with. So few can match me. Can you blame me for wanting someone to talk to? A confidant to keep me sane?
He reveals to Winter that he was actually a clone. Malcador had used the Eldar's DNA along with human DNA to create him, that his entire life had been nothing more than a fabricated memory, although he had not been the first. He was a copy of a copy of a copy of...
Oh, no! Oh, bro. Yo. First of all, bro, yo, sorry to give you this bad news, but our friendship is over with. Our friendship is over with, bro. We're not bros no more. You not even a real deal. You just a copy after, bro. Oh my goodness. Do you know how sick I will be as a man? You tell me that, yo, I got this phony just giving me just information, and you're a fake, and you're a clone. Wow. Wow, bro. The devil be moving fast, y'all. Be careful. Y'all better stay prayed up and crack that Bible open. Boy, because the devil be moving fast. Yo, Speedy Gonzalez, bro. Like Barry Allen fast. Like, what are you talking about?
A copy. Winter demanded he tell him everything, to tell him the truth, to tell him why he would do this. And he was tired of playing the sigillite's mind games.
There are no lies in this place. We have no time for them. I made you so I would have a voice that was not an echo of my own. Stripped the alien from that corpse, merged it with something more akin to a man. And you've been that for a long time, Ale. A good friend. Haven't we been good friends?
Sobbing, Winters tells him that he doesn't want to hear his voice. Why did he keep telling him things? All the secrets and horrible truths of this war, and all the ones to come afterwards. Why confess them to him? He didn't want the burden. He couldn't contain them.
I know. That's why you killed yourself so many times. Hundreds of you.
Oh my God. No, I'm tripping. No, the Malcador dude didn't clone himself. He cloned the Winter dude, y'all. I'm tripping. I'm sorry. My bad, y'all. That's my fault. I'm tripping. Yo, bro, wow. So he's literally, he's not, yo, this is diabolical. So he's not even letting bro die. And so we can't really say this word because, YouTube, they be on us like white on rice, yo, if we say this word. So when bro self-deleted, right, when Winter took himself out a bunch of times because he couldn't keep that burden, because bro kept telling him these secrets and everything else, and it legit melted his mind, so he had no other choice but to take himself out. He kept building clone after clone after clone after clone. Bro, just let me die. You like me or something? Yo, you like me? Like, bro, I don't swing that way, yo. Yo, you like me or something? Like, bro, yo, just let me know. Like, bro.
Seeking death rather than live with what I told them. Another secret I kept. I regret it. But my need was greater than yours. Even I cannot carry my duty alone. So you helped me, my friend.
I'm not your friend.
You gave the Keeper of Terra's secrets a place where he could put aside his mask, even for a brief time, and confide.
We're not friends.
I know the toll is great, but you have my deepest gratitude.
Bro, move,
This
bro.
final secret was too much for Winter to bear. In his madness and enraged by the truth, he smashed open the incubation tube. The captured Eldari falling out onto the floor, his body withering away as soon as his skin made contact with the air. He grabbed a shard of broken glass and jumped on top of it,
Oh, man.
stabbing at it relentlessly, screaming at the top of his lungs that this wasn't him. He turned to the hologram and through tear-filled eyes told the sigillite that he would no longer be used by him. Malcador simply told him that that was not his choice to make.
It's over, bro. There's nothing you could do. You in this fuck. It's not funny. I feel bad for him. But like, imagine like somebody put Bro, this man Malcador put him in a 360 of doom. Put bro in a 360 of menace. He legit, yo, bro signed his life away to be Malcador's friend on accident. He didn't even know. He just, wow. He legit put bro in a record label deal, bro. Y'all know like the music record labels, how it's a little funny. Y'all, hey, they be signing their life away. Bro, this man Malcador put him in a 360 of doomer said. Yo, I feel so bad.
To Winter's surprise, the voice didn't come from the hologram. Another iteration of Malcador stormed into the chamber, even as the one Winter was conversing with faded like a mirage. The sigillite was hard-eyed, and there was blood on his robes. The shadow he cast fell across Winter and made the air in the laboratory turn polar cold. He tried to move the makeshift crystal flex dagger, but his body was frozen in place. "Let me die." Winter forced out the words through his rigid jaw. "You have no right." "How much? More? How many more secrets do you have to admit?"
"An infinity of them,"
said Malcador, one hand on his iron staff as he lowered himself into a crouch.
"But I no longer require a confessor."
He reached out and took the glassy fragment from Winter's hand and threw it away.
"You are needed for something else."
The sigillite laid his long fingers over the planes of Winter's face and closed his eyes. Ethereal light glowed beneath his flesh and seeped out, illuminating Winter's skull from within. The adjutant began to scream. Now, it's no question that the Imperium is built upon a foundation of lies, secrets, and truths so terrible they must be kept under lock and key at all times. But what could Malcador possibly tell someone that would make them want to delete themselves hundreds of times over? We will probably never get an answer to this, as Malcador sacrificed himself to maintain the Golden Throne while the Emperor battled his wayward son Horus. But perhaps some written record still exists. Perhaps Malcador—
I knew something wasn't right about him, y'all. I knew something was not right about him. I knew he was, bro. I knew he was a freakster, bro. I knew respectfully, y'all, excuse me for saying this, but I knew he was a lame, bro. I knew it. I knew it, bro. I knew he was lame. Yo, for you to befriend somebody and then tell them information that makes them want to delete themselves, and they do it hundreds of times, that means you made hundreds of clones of this one person. First of all, that's weird in itself. You're down bad right there. Like, you're just like, that's just nasty, just menace material. Like, you're ill. That it's ill. But the fact that, like, bro, yo, I feel bad for him.
kept
I
some
feel bad
type
for
of
him,
journal.
y'all.
Somewhere out there, deep within the confines of the Inquisition's most restricted archives, locked away under the highest levels of security imaginable, may rest a forgotten memoir of a troubled old man. The Veiled Region. By the time of the 41st millennium, mankind had spread far and wide across the stars, establishing around 1 million separate worlds throughout the galaxy. However, there are certain sections of space that, for one reason or another, mankind has been unable to get a foothold in. Perhaps these are regions like the Coronus Expanse that are actively in the process of being charted by sanctioned rogue traders, or zones like the Halo stars, which are so far out of the way and actively dangerous that colonization efforts are seen as a waste of resources. However, there is one region of space yet untouched by the Imperium, known as the Veiled Regions, that has been the subject of endless speculation for many years now. It is a vast, unmapped region of wilderness in segmentum tempestus of the galactic cell that seems like it would make for a prime target for human expansion. However, since the time of the Great Crusade over 10,000 years ago, the Imperium has forbid anyone from entering this mysterious place for reasons unspecified, even going as far as to say attempts at establishing a human colony there will be met with a punishment of the highest order. But why is this? Why would such a vast, unmapped area be completely written off? What absolute horrors could be lurking within the dark corners of this shadowy and mysterious place that would call for such a radical policy? Due to the strict enforcement of these laws, information on the Veiled Regions is pretty hard to come by. The scant few reports that we have claim that the region is inhabited by ork freebooters, several yet unidentified species of intelligent xenos life, and even a handful of necron dynasties. Now, these are certainly threats to be taken into consideration, but are not obstacles that are not found elsewhere in the galaxy, so there has to be something more to it. However, if we were to play devil's advocate, the reason that is passed around by many Imperial scholars is that the Veiled region, for some reason, is completely cut off from the Astronomicon's guiding light, making it incredibly difficult to navigate.
You see, future West added the study region is a census region full of newborn stars and dense nebulous. The radiation caused interference in communication. In my own personal opinion, I don't buy it. Okay.
Even further,
my bad.
astropathic transmissions
My bad, y'all.
originating from ships that have entered the region never reach their intended destination. Whether they be a message of good fortune or a dire warning, all that the receiver ever hears is cold, dead static. Since astropaths and navigators play such a critical role in space travel for the Imperium, it is possible that the Veiled region has simply not been probed because it would cost a conceivable amount of additional resources to do so. But is the reason that humanity is barred from entering here simply a matter of logistics? If I'm being honest, I'm not entirely convinced. But just for clarification, this is a region that has been in the lore forever, but Games Workshop hasn't touched it in over a decade. The last time we gained any kind of insight was in 2009 with the release of the novel Hellforged. Not to get into a full-blown discussion of that novel here, but it follows both the Adeptus Mechanicus and the Soul Drinkers chapter. The Soul Drinkers were here because they had recently been declared traitors and were attempting to hide, and the Mechanicus had gotten a hold of a Xenos artifact that was a mask that resembled a human face but was clearly made by intelligent Xenos hands. To them, this indicated that there were humans living in the region that were not part of the Imperium.
And guess what? GG's. Yo, if you was a human, I couldn't do it, y'all. If you was a human on one of these planets and they found you, GG's, bro. GG's, bro. They got these necrons walking around with Denzel Washington's face. Imagine you pass away and stuff like that. You chilling up in heaven, and all of a sudden you look down and you see somebody rocking your face. Yeah, somebody's rocking your face. Somebody legit got a they got a BBL version of your face. Do you know how sick I would be? First of all, bro, give me my face. But what are you doing? Give me my face back. They legit, bro. What's that one villain from Batman? False Face, bro. They legit snagged your face.
They may have committed the sin of aligning themselves with aliens. However, later in the novel, we find out that the mask was of Necron make, and that there were non-Imperial human worlds here, and they were being attacked by them. And fun fact, it had a great, albeit terrifying, early depiction of Flayed Ones, where Flayed Ones acted like sleeper agents that would hollow out a person's body cavity and then slide inside them like they were a meat suit, wherein they would pose as corpses on the battlefield to ambush people, or just appear as a heavily wounded soldier so they could infiltrate behind enemy lines.
Ooh, they sneaky. Ooh, they sneaky, boy. Ooh, they sneaky, boy. Hey, woo! Man, this game is getting hard. The game is getting difficult.
This novel was released before the Necrons lore got overhauled in 5th edition and they got a lot more personality. And back then, they were this unknowable and terrifying cosmic horror. So the reveal in the book that Necrons were here was actually kind of a big deal. But by today's standards, it's not really that exciting. Many Warhammer fans point to this novel as the end-all be-all discussion when it comes to the Veiled region. But at the end of the day, it only covered a very small portion of it, and the Imperial edicts had been in place long before the Necrons here were discovered. For me personally, I'm convinced that there's something else out there, but we'll just have to wait for Games Workshop to take the story there once again. And those were 3 of Warhammer 40K's
Hey man,
grimdark.
shout out to Weshammer for this video. This video was really good, bro. Very suspenseful. I feel like he's like the best. I feel like Weshammer's like the best, like scary, like how do you put it, like scary, like storyteller. I feel like he's like one of the best storytellers on like Warhammer lore, period. But whenever it comes to like the scary thing, bro, he definitely got it on lock, bro. So shout out to Weshammer for that. Other than that, man, if y'all haven't checked out Weshammer, go check him out. If y'all like my reaction, man, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and I'm gonna see y'all later next time I'm out. Peace out, everybody.